Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Alright, so today's story is about a US citizen that was denied entry into Vietnam. Now that grabbed me. Denied entry? Well, it turns out that her name on her passport was not the same as the name on her visa. What was the difference? The passport had her first, middle, and last name, whereas the visa only had her first and last name. So for that reason, she was denied entry. Now, she was a little bit perturbed. I would be distraught trying to figure out what happened, but they gave her two solutions. She could either go back to where she was coming from, which in this case was Japan, or she could apply for an emergency visa. Now, because of her situation, she was meeting up with a river cruise in Vietnam. Her only option then would have been to apply for the emergency visa, but they warned her, this is going to be very, very, very expensive. How expensive? Imagine 3,199,300 Vietnamese dong. I would be floored. I don't know about anybody else, but I would be floored. So they did the conversion for her because she's not walking around with Vietnamese dong, and they calculated it to 130 US dollars. Now, I can just imagine how she breathed a sigh of relief, because that figure is not as daunting as 3 million. So, being very happy, she took out her card to pay for this emergency visa. And upon doing so, they told her, no, we do not accept card, we only take cash. What was she supposed to do? She rummaged in her purse, in her bag. Luckily, she found some 20s in there, and she was able to pay for the emergency visa. Went on, met up on the cruise, and I'm sure she had a fantastic time and let go of what happened. So this resonated with me for two reasons. One, sometimes we look at the big picture, the big things, and we forget the minor details. Now, it was no fault of her own. The visa has her first name, her last name, she checked, but she just did not compare it with the passport. She even went back and looked and realized that while applying for the visa online, it did not give her the option to input her middle name, which is on her passport. So of course she would have just put her first and last name. So a suggestion from her would be, where you have that first line or first space to put in your first name, if your middle name is on the passport, just put your first and middle name there, and then your last name will go onto the surname slot. So that's one workaround. The other thing is that in this day and age, we tend to think that the card rules everything. But then there's some places in the world where cash is king. You're not going to be able to move around freely without cash. So sometimes we think that bubble that we live in, or where we live, dictates what everything is like in the rest of the world. Just saying that when we're traveling, make sure that we're checking these little details. If you have to get a visa to go to this country, it's best to make sure that what is in your passport is what is on the visa. It will save a load of trouble later on down the road. The other thing is that also find out about what they use in terms of currency. Do we need to convert? Are they accepting card? Is it a cash only location? So we just have to look at these minor, we'll call them minor details, but they lead to big problems. So that was my story for today. I hope you found it interesting. Please, again, like, comment, share, subscribe to Officially Trish B. and don't forget to click the notification button. Bye.